Hi guys, I'm Maria Meliora and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my favorite warm, gourmand, soothing and rich perfumes. I chose these based on the most worn list in my personal collection, things that I wore all the way through winter months, sort of all like late fall, December, January, February, and now I'm still wearing them, especially in the evenings, because all of these perfumes share a wonderful quality of kind of warm, gourmand, soothing blanket, something you can put on and kind of just go into a different world, a world of calm, maybe a little bit of a wonder. So they're all very either cozy and comforting or even more kind of dreamy and rich. They kind of take you to a different world, like to a fairy tale. So I thought there was no better time, as all of us going through various stages of quarantine, or like a lot of plans are changing, and a lot of times, especially at night when we went through the day, we did the best we could, and it's time for us to actually relax and recharge, regain some of that energy. This is something new that I would like to bring to your attention because I'm super intrigued by this brand. It was a purchase recommended by another perfume blogger, and I'm kind of like opened my eyes to this whole brand. So this is Carven, and the fragrance that I have here is called Paris Muscat. I think I'm saying it correctly. Paris Muscat. I think it's Muscat or Muscate. Muscate. So apparently Carven has a number of iconic fragrances. However, they often like to use tuberose similar to Robert Piguet, which unfortunately I have hypersensitivity to the tuberose note. It gives me horrible headaches, so I have to be very careful when I buy perfumes to make sure that they're not tuberose centric. But they are travel inspired, sort of limited edition line, is an incredible collection of very well blended gourmands, a different type of gourmands inspired by different cities. So this is Paris Muscat, Muscate, and what I smell here is, okay, let's refresh. Let's get a little bit on. To me, oh yes, to me, this is something of those kind of glazed nuts. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like caramelized nuts. Because it has a little bit of something nutty in it. Something like those burnt sugar candies. Has something in it that's just like, it's very hard to explain, but it reminds me of caramelized nuts that I ate when I was a child. And I am absolutely blown away by the quality of composition here. It's very pleasant, very wearable, but it doesn't smell like 1,000 of other gourmands that I can find in store. So I'm very pleasantly surprised by Paris Muscat by Carven, and I would heavily recommend that you check out if you can find any of these on a good deal anywhere. I think they have Izmir, São Paulo, and a few other city named fragrances in this particular line. So I'm very intrigued. I actually used it with pleasure. I think I used up roughly, I'd say 4 ml at this point, and I can't stop. It's just so easy to wear. It's so comfortable. This candy-like, almost a little bit herbal smell is just very intriguing to me. I'll keep thinking about what it reminds me of, but I cannot imagine anyone who wouldn't like this scent. And it's so refreshing that, being the gourmand and sweet, it's not sticky, that it's not annoying, and that it has a fairly recognizable character. So something to keep your eyes out for. Another one that surprised me very pleasantly, and I bought it for like probably 30 or 35 bucks in the online discount store. This is a selective line by Perry Ellis, and I think it's the whole line is called Oud something. So this one is Oud Safran Rose Absolu. I don't know why I'm trying to say it with French accent. I'm not sure if it actually is intended to be written in French or English. Saffron Rose Absolute. So, Rose and Oud, it's one of the oldest type of fragrances known on earth, and yet I've never ever smelled rose with saffron and the sort of the promise of oud that had such a clean and yet potent presence. So here, I don't know if it actually does have oud or not, but here the saffron and the rose are so elegant, and there's like not a trace of any confusion or dirty animalic notes or heavy smothering gourmand notes that are common. Usually we expect the rose oud fragrances to be quite heavy and smothering in a way, you know, like they have to kind of like envelop all of your senses, all of your nose, and just stay there. This is not it. This is cleaner, brighter. This is much more, the sillage of this perfume, it's much more light. It's kind of like it almost exists on a higher frequency than what I would expect from a rose oud perfume. If I had to compare it with any other rose-centric perfumes, I would compare it with Micallef Rose Oud Royale, because that, by a lot of shared opinions, is the cleanest and oddly enough daytime wearable rose oud perfume. So this is rose and saffron that I would say is so clean and so bright in the way that it sounds. It's not heavy, it's not dirty, as I said, it's not super gourmand or sweet. It's just very clean and bright rose saffron that I love wearing it during the day. It's one of the most unique rose scents that I have in my collection. The only thing that I'm a little bit upset about is the shape of the bottle. I'm not the biggest fan of the way they decided to package this. I think especially the top really cheapens the overall impression of this perfume. So I wish that it had a little bit more fine details in the lid part of it. But otherwise, I think if you can find it for 30/40 bucks, this is a really good find. It's a high quality perfume. The next two are my sexy librarian type of scents that I love so much. If you didn't know, the library is my favorite place to be honest, ever since I was a girl, but I do prefer older, more like luxurious, you know, like these like royal style libraries, so you know, that's what I like. Anyway, so the two scents that I wore the most and the ones that I love wearing when I try to focus and read book for like uninterrupted like 30 minutes to an hour is Anglomania by Vivienne Westwood. Unfortunately discontinued. I almost had, you see, like there's almost nothing left there. It used to be my signature scent for good 15 years. This is the one that I wore when I was probably 17, maybe like 20s, like some period of the time then, and I was all into the metal and grunge. I had these like metal jacket, like studded boots, and like red and black plaid, absolutely crazy skirt with a huge opening on the side. Yeah, it was quite a time. So ever since then, this fragrance I associated with kind of a bit of a like loud quietness, because what it is in its essence, it's a very punchy rose powder scent. It's very hard to make, it's not hard to make a rose scent loud. You just keep pumping the rose itself, and then it will become this like very loud, oily, almost a little bit sour sweet rosy scent, or you can add gourmand notes and it will become really sweet, or you can add some other notes. But to make a kind of makeup bag powdery scent that will still have a little bit of that punk punch in your face, you know, like what represents the style of Vivienne Westwood, that's not easy, and they succeeded. A for such a rare combination, because when you okay, I'll go ahead and refresh my memory, though I know this fragrance. I think I recognize it anywhere with my eyes closed. The way that they made the powder jump on you, like almost like throwing translucent powder in your face, just doing this kind of puff. I don't know how they managed to do it, but this is a truly punky, a little bit of a contrarian type of rose. I don't know how else to say it. This is just so seductive, yet it's shrinking violet with a little bit of the devilish sparkle in her eye. I absolutely love the scent. You can still find it online, unfortunately, just for much higher prices. But if you can find it for like anywhere between $50 and $70, you should get it. It's absolutely worth it. It's one of the rare cases when it smells better than most of the niche that is right now on the market. And the bottle is just, it's perfection. I honestly just don't think I will be able to part with the bottle even if when I'm done with the fragrance. I do have one backup of this, but that's about all. And the second one that I think is a little bit more widely available, but it's also very expensive, even more expensive than that, is Memo Quartier Latin. Latin Quartal? I guess the neighborhood. I think, so Memo is one of those coveted niche brands that are way too expensive. Each bottle of their new perfume, if you want to buy it from the official website, will be well over 250 euros, maybe even 300 euros. I got lucky. I got it from a blog sale from a fellow perfume collector who I think got it a while ago. I'm very lucky to own this bottle, and I'm using it sparingly, but every time when I want to kind of go into my bookworm mode, that's one of the two that I use. Alright, and the last two are just these very flirtatious frivolities that are good not only for winter, not only for soothing and kind of quiet evenings at home. They are good all year round, and they collect compliments like no other perfumes in my collection, especially one of the most beautiful and flirty pear-centric fragrances in my collection, and this is Lalique by Lalique. The one that I have is like a limited edition one with a little trinket. It's like a little pendant there, but the normal bottle looks almost the same. So, as I told you, this is a pear-centric fragrance. It is almost like when it opens, it's like a really sweet, ripe pear. Like as soon as you sunk your teeth in it, the juice just starts pouring all over your mouth everywhere. It's so vibrant, juicy, with a very tasteful addition of different florals. To me, this is the most cheerful, happy, and delicious scent. I've never had a scent that represented pear in such beautiful and optimistic surrounding of other notes. I highly recommend you to try it, especially if you want some vitamins in the form of a perfume. This is a delicious, optimistic, vibrant, laughing pear in a bottle. And the last one is a surprise favorite for me. I already talked about it in several videos. Ever since I acquired this perfume, I'm so happy with it. I constantly have to refrain from getting a backup because I have 100 ml. It's more than enough to last me a number of years until I get tired of it and even like will want to get rid of it eventually. But it's just such a well blended cologne, and I'm talking about Parfums d'Orsay La Dandy. This is a women's version. They have La Dandy for men and La Dandy for women. This is the one, the femme, La Femme. It's hard to say what's so beautiful about it because in its essence this is a it's not a heavy perfume, but it's not a refreshing and light perfume. It's, I would say, like closer to more, I would say it's closer to a brighter florals. However, to me it smells like hard candy. It's both refreshing and yet it smells like hard candy to me with this kind of like zesty sweetness. I absolutely love it. Every single time I wear it, I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to go, and it's not a perfume that I would wear for like a serious negotiation, but this is basically me on a good day. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you're having a good day, when you're productive enough, you shared a few laughs, you like met a wonderful person, you had a wonderful conversation, you got a few things done, you're looking forward to the rest of the day, like everything is going as it should. I like it because of that a bit of a hard candy note and general lighter presence that La Dandy creates, that I'm not burdened by it, I'm not smothered by it, it doesn't dominate me, it just kind of is traveling with me through time and space, just adding a little bit of a kind of cackle, a little bit of a giggle to my thought process. So La Dandy is a definite favorite of mine. I did not anticipate to like it as much as I do. And I want to warn you, you still can get these from Canada for fragrancebuy.ca, .canada, because Parfums d'Orsay, as far as I know, are repackaging and reformulating this, and I don't even know if they will be available going forward. But now you can get these from Canadian websites for a very cheap price. This is a niche perfume house that used to cost, I think, at least $70+. So right now, some of these bottles you can buy for maybe $35 or something around that. It's a really good price for what you get. I bought myself 3. So far, the one that is my most favorite out of all of them that I had the opportunity to try is La Dandy. I absolutely love it. But again, if you're not into a bit of a hard candy note that at least I feel here, this kind of like refreshing yet, oh, that's not the one, refreshing yet cheerful. Some people even say it's like bubblegum. Maybe in its dry down it's has a little bit of a tinge of something cheerfully bubblegummy, but it definitely doesn't feel synthetic, it doesn't feel cheap. I don't know how they I don't know how they made it. Again, I haven't smelled anything even remotely like this in other perfume lines. This is why I praise it so high. Considering that this niche perfume house can be bought for very affordable prices right now, highly, highly recommend. When it comes to my favorite winter perfumes, my favorite gourmands, the favorite perfumes that soothe the soul and take the mind to a happy place, these are my recommendations for you. I try to give you options from the most luxurious and expensive to rare but still affordable, and something that almost nobody has but you, to way more affordable options, maybe some of the vintage options. At this point we can, yeah, I think you can call this vintage. It's been 20 years since Anglomania hit the shelves, to incredibly affordable and beautiful options that you can buy for almost no money at all. I hope that I gave you something to try, something to think about, something to contemplate. Let me know if you tried any of these, what you thought. Do you agree with my descriptions? Do you disagree? Yeah, basically let me know what you think of these perfumes and what kind of perfumes you're using to kind of soothe the soul, to comfort yourself. I would love to learn from you and your recommendations. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.